Hey, call me Shape. And today I'm reacting to a video titled Meg's Back Outside, right after Klay Breakup. Let's get right into it.
River TV. What's up, guys? It's your girl Riva, and I'm back again with another video. Now, as many of you guys already know, rapper Meg Thee Stallion and her NBA boyfriend Klay Thompson ended up breaking up over the weekend, right? She made a post on her social media that talked about cheating allegations. It talked about him getting, cold feet in the relationship. It talked about a plethora of different things, right? And then right after that, she had a show that she performed at, and she was seen visibly crying, and people didn't know if she was crying because of the breakup or stuff that happened at the show. And then a couple days after that, or I would say a day after that, she ended up going to her social media and basically saying that she needed a break. It says, "Last night was a real wake-up call for me. I've been pushing past my limits lately, running on empty, and my body finally said enough. It honestly scared me. I thought I was going to faint on stage. I really tried to push through my performance, but I just couldn't. Hotties, I want to be real with y'all because you mean everything to me, and I hate letting y'all down. I just need one day to rest, reset, and take care of myself the way I should have been. I'll be right back on that stage Thursday, stronger, clearer, and ready to give you 100% the way you deserve. Thank you for always riding with me and loving me through everything." So when she posted that message on the internet, people were like, oh my gosh, she must be going through so much. He's the only person that she has, and that breakup must have, really been taking a toll on her and stuff like that. Well, everybody who had that mind, set or process was absolutely wrong, because last night, Megan Thee Stallion was outside.
I didn't actually see a shot. Where's the shot? I seen the titties. I seen the glass. Where's the actual alcohol? Not that Meg needs to get more alcohol, right? They should call her 2 cups of Henny. Ain't that your nickname, Meg? 2 cups of Henny? That's all it takes? Anyway, I just think her statement was the same carbon copy, emotional statement created by your PR to release to the press. My body said enough. This happened to me. Woe is me. I'm the victim. But you're not a victim. Meg, look, I guess you're sad about your breakup. Maybe you're sad about Klay cheating on you. But the reality of it is that you were never the girl worthy of marriage. Maybe you thought you were. Maybe you thought that getting online, twerking, making songs about WAP wouldn't affect your dating prospects. But you were wrong, okay? You definitely sold your soul. It is what it is. You got a high price for it. Okay, but now you got to pay the cost. You got to pay the cost. You want to be the boss, you got to pay the cost to be the boss. And it seems to me that women haven't found a route other than objectifying themselves to make money. Whether you're a rapper, you're a singer, no matter actress, no matter what women do, they always sexually objectify themselves, and then they blame everybody else for their outcomes. Nah, baby girl, it's you. You chose this life. Whole is life. Hot girl summer. Enjoy yours.
Okay, so somebody around her, recorded this video of her outside in the streets, showing outside like behavior, posted it on social media, and people are taken aback. Right? People are now like, well, this was quick. Like, most of the time it takes a moment. We need to hear the other person's side of the conversation. Like, we need to see, a various different, points of view for us to realize who was a problem in the situation. And a lot of people are basically like, well, obviously Megan's a problem. Right? Because how do you go from a couple of days ago, you guys were just in a relationship, into now you're doing this kind of like outside behavior so quickly, right? That would mean that the relationship really didn't mean that much to you, because everybody knows when you break up with somebody, there's a period, right? Where you guys could get back together. You guys could work things out. You guys could talk about things. And the fact that you jumped out there so quickly is very telling. As you can see, the first comment says, all she's doing is proving why he never took her serious in the first place. Next comment says, Klay dodged a bullet. Next comment says, let Klay be outside cutting grass and it would be an uproar. But she probably getting cracked tonight and they'll say she's heartbroken and healing, LOL. Next comment says, then will want to be wifed up after broadcasting this behavior, LOL. Next person says, that's all she wanted the whole time. Next person says, Klay Thompson, so proud of you, big bro. Now, before we continue, okay, we got to be honest about something. Women always try to do things that men can do, and they think that it's going to get them the same results, right? And that will never happen. Okay, that will absolutely never happen. If a woman and a man break up, you know the way that a man is going to say, "Man, I missed out," or "Man, I messed up," or "Man, I feel some type of way." That is when a woman is saying, "I don't want to be with nobody else, not even you." Right? I'd rather be single and alone. When you jump back out there, it is only going to prove the case that you were not in a space.
Bro, I don't care what nobody says. There were no alcohols in that shot. She's trying to prove to the world she moved on. Is she wearing nip pasties or something? Meg is built, yo. I won't even lie to you. She's built. I see why they call her a stallion. Jesus Christ. But I'm going to keep it real with you. That's not enough. A lot of women feel like, oh my God, I got the body, I got the butt, I got the boobs. It's not enough. If you want to be a man's wife, if you want to be a man's long-term partner, you got to understand that you have to be his honor. He has to feel prideful saying, yo, that's my girl. That's my girl. But unfortunately, Klay was preceded by a long line of men, famous and unfamous, who was clapping Meg's cheeks, busting her guts, and God knows whatever else kind of egregious things in that bedroom. Now I want to say this. It's, of course, Meg is the problem. She is the problem. She's always been the problem. She has a drink. She's an alcoholic. So I don't know how she's fit, and she's a super alcoholic. But the fact that she went and did this PR stunt with a fake shot, it's not even a real shot. Her friend is recording in the background, dude with the orange phone. Another person's recording it. This is all staged. Oh yeah, it does. I'm unbothered. So why is your message that your body had enough, but now you're back at the club drinking? You see these mixed messages women they show? All these mixed messages. You're not hurt. You're hurt, but you're not hurt. You know what I'm saying? You're crying on stage, but now you're at the club getting drunk. Which one is it? And so again, like someone said in one of the comments, she's advertising behavior as if someone's gonna say, "Damn man, look at this. I want to wife that up." Klay did what he was supposed to do. He wanted his turn. That's all it was. He wasn't the man with the flowers after a long line of dudes clapping cheeks, right? Ball smacking against wall. Hell no. He wasn't. He did what he was supposed to do. He had his turn. Now he's moving on. It was fun. He got some recognition. He got his clout up a little bit. Even though he's way more famous than her, in my opinion. There's some women that were trying to say that, oh my God, Meg made Klay famous. Klay is way richer than Meg, and women don't know about Klay because they don't watch sports, right? But the NBA is far a more popular corporation than Meg Thee Stallion could ever dream of, and Klay's one of the top 10 players in the league. What are we talking about? So anyway, all this stuff that we see online now, all of it to me is just cope. All this is cope. She's coping, her fans coping, and they're really trying to they're trying to do damage control on her. Hey, listen up, Shape Squad. Are you tired of being ignored by women? Well, download my free ebook, Be Attractive and Shut Up. It's going to teach you how to master attraction, build unshakable confidence, and win with women without words. Because chances are you're not ugly, you just talk too damn much. So download my free ebook, Be Attractive and Shut Up, and take control of your dating life right now. Now let's get right back to the content.
That you were deserving of, the lifestyle that you say that you were committed to and that you say that you want. That's what it's proving. Okay? It is evident. You were doing all these things. You were trying to prove to his parents that you were like, this wife and that you have all these things. You were cooking Thanksgiving dinner.
And whispering because Klay is still in his food coma from last night. But let me tell y'all about cooking for my man and his family for Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving dinner was the best Thanksgiving food I've ever eaten. Megan Thee Stallion should be Megan the chef.
Mr. Thompson definitely said I can own my own restaurant. I'm glad that I got the stamp of approval from the father. But the mother, Julie was my number one stamp of approval.
You were doing all those things. But to me, it just seems like you couldn't wait for the bottom to drop out. Like you couldn't wait for one thing to surface. It could have been the smallest thing and you were like, oh, nope, get my stuff. I'm going back outside. I'm going back to the streets. Like you couldn't wait to do that. And let's not forget, like Hot Girl Summer and stuff like that. That's all her entire brand. So summer is now approaching. She couldn't wait to, drop that situation and go right back to the streets. That's what it seems like, right? With the behavior that you're exuding, that's what it seems like. Mind you, she's working and she's talking about, she needs rest and this and that. This don't look like you resting. That's not what rest look like. And a lot of women do these things, right? A lot of women they put themselves in a position where they quickly run back to the streets or they quickly revert to their ways because they're not even used to dealing with such serious relationships that they don't know how to function if a hiccup comes up. Because she said that she's never dealt with, a man in this way ever.
Like, I'm receiving love way better than I ever have in life, which is probably why the man that I have now has came into my life, because I was ready to have him.
I have never dated somebody so kind. Like, this is my first relationship where I ever been with somebody who's genuinely a nice person, and he makes me genuinely happy. Like, I just never dated somebody like him before.
Can we talk about the fact that a lot of women self-sabotage relationships? They start tripping. They start, being reactive. They start being less understanding. They stop wanting to have certain, conversations. They stop all of the things because they want you to prove that all men aren't good, because that's what they truly believe. They want you to prove that sometimes that they're not worthy of the relationships that they say that they want, because that's how they feel. So sometimes you can have a great guy, amazing guy, and he's already getting into a losing battle because that woman already doesn't believe that anybody is going to take her serious. So they will, confuse friction with it's not working out. They will confuse a small issue with a mountain because they're dedicated to proving that they need to be outside, that all men are the problem, that, it's the men who's the issue. That's what they try to do.
I love how this gala is honoring your parents. You're here with Klay as your date tonight. How do you think they would have loved him? And does he remind you of them in any way? Live on the memory of him?
I feel like my mom would have been like, wow, you finally picked a nice man. We kissed a lot of frogs, but now we got a real prince. I feel like they would be.
We kissed a lot of frogs. That you did indeed. You kissed a lot of frogs. Damn. Right? See, the problem with a lot of women, like even Meg Thee Stallion, is they want to believe that they're equal to you. They could do what you could do. That they're on the same level as you, and therefore you have just as much at stake as they do. But you don't understand the scenario here where he's the nice guy, but she's not the nice girl. She's the dot. She's the bot. She's the girl twerking her ass online and for everybody to see. She's the girl talking about how wet her punani is. That's the girl she is. So she's not the girl you take home to your mom. She said her mom like, oh, you met a nice guy. Klay's mom like, you met a thought. You know what I'm saying? You met a 304. Right? But they're polite. They play their position. They let her cook and they were grateful for it. And, she's still a celebrity. So they probably were like, wow, this is a moment that we're having, a lot of people would love to have, and they can enjoy that, right? But ultimately, they probably never seen her as the one that's going to carry Klay's kids. Of course not, right? So that's why when she said comments like she feels like her energy is the reason why someone like Klay came into her life, is the energy she's putting out there. That's why he was in her life. Well, let me ask you this question, Meg. What about why he left your life? Was it the energy you put out there to the universe? Is that why he left your life? Maybe you guys were incongruent. I never thought they were aligned to begin with. It's like the kind of guy she needs a thug. She needs a dude who makes less money than her. She needs a dude that would check her, put her in her place. She needs a Nicki Minaj special. Right? Megan needs the dude that she has to prop up. That the value of her to him is that he could never get with a girl on her level. Like, she needs to date someone that she's genuinely out their league from the standpoint of status. She has more status than this man, therefore he can't do no better. But the problem with that, and this problem probably happened with Nicki Minaj too, is those guys still cheat too. That's why, like, in the scenario that Meg is in, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You're screwed, right? You did what you thought was necessary to get you to this place where now you're on the main stage, right? Your name is known worldwide. You're a household name. But you can't even capitalize on it romantically because you've been marketing yourself as a thought. And men are interested in sleeping with you. She hasn't. I would hit. She got a nice body. I'm sure that shit hits. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure she got that Gawk 3000. I'm sure. Right? She kissed a lot of frogs, y'all. She kissed a lot of frogs. However, Even me in this position, I got 20,000 subscribers. Even I wouldn't have put no baby in Meg. Why? Because I still don't feel like if you have more money than me, as a woman, you're not above me. That's not where your value comes from. Your value, because you don't want to. Not like you want to provide for me and you're going to invest in me. Not like you're going to be some seed money or an angel investor in my life. So your money means nothing to me because ultimately, even women who are wealthy, they want the man to pay all the bills. Yeah, right? I don't know if it's true, but between Clarissa Shields and Papoose, supposedly she makes more money. I don't know. I'm not saying she does. I'm not saying she doesn't. But supposedly the narrative is she makes more money, but for some reason he pays all the bills like a man's supposed to do. So then I ask this question, what is the woman supposed to do? Be out here popping it, twerking it, you know what I'm saying? Half naked, right? Sexualizing herself on stage. Like, what is the woman supposed to do? Y'all really believe that you're going to take these 304s and convert them to nuns as they get older? As if somebody wants some old ass nun that been ran through. So even the play is messed up. The play is not even a good play. It's a stupid play, right? But she's back outside because that's what she's comfortable with. She's comfortable being with the streets. 2 shots of Henny, you know what I'm saying? And you could hit it from the back. Yeah, that's all I see. That's all I see.
My dad would be very happy.
Now, you're going to have a lot of women, because I saw it all over social media where they're like, oh, well, it is what it is. If he never did this, if he never did that, then, this wouldn't be happening. If this and this, if this and that. There's no way that a woman could have been in love with a man, okay? Which, by the way, their relationship was not very long anyway. I think it was about a year or so that the two of them were together, but still, right? You're so in love. You're doing all these things. You're cooking. You're like, doing this whole, like, I'm a wife and he gonna wife me and he gonna be my Russell kind of thing, right? And you're in this relationship and it ends so abruptly a couple of days ago and you already out in the club acting like, oh yeah, yeah. No. That is very reasonable for people to question whether he was right, wrong, or indifferent. It's very reasonable for people to question if your feelings were genuine to begin with. Because, again, there was no down period. Again, when people saw her crying, they're like, oh, yeah, breakups are tough and, whatever. When she canceled the show, people are like, oh, yeah, she needs a break. Yeah, because this is a lot that she has going on. Only for her to be outside. And I don't know if she's doing that in a way to kind of like show him like, oh, yeah, I don't need you or whatever the case is. But the only thing that it's doing is showing potential suitors in the future. Oh, yeah, we don't take her serious.
More importantly, how has your relationship made you better as a man on and off the floor, and how that's going to move forward for you as far as your career?
My relationship with
Megan Thee Stallion.
I'm not going to talk about that.
Oh, yeah, we don't need to take her serious. Yeah, because if she was with him and he did the most and he bought her this and he was showering her with this and doing this and, something happens and she immediately goes to the internet and then she immediately is outside. Yeah, we don't need to take her serious. We just move on from that.
And so this whole fiasco, shout out to River. She bad, bro. I know she got a man. And from what I can see, she probably makes more bread than her man because River's getting that check. She's doing very well for herself on YouTube. So, but she's a real one. So it's good that women like her could talk about this because we need women who are above these women to talk down to these women. That's what we need. River, to me, look, and this is what Meg Thee Stallion wouldn't get. River is less famous, right? She probably is not as voluptuous. Meg probably got a way bigger ass and bigger boobs. I would say River's probably prettier, but in Meg's mind, she's the better catch. In a man's mind of value, I guarantee Klay would rather wife up a River than a Megan. And I guarantee River would fill that role more comfortably. And that's the challenge for all these women. Y'all think you're on a man's level because you guys have the same amount of money, same amount of fame. But it don't work like that. A woman's reputation is her value. And your money and your fame has nothing to do with your reputation. Zero. Okay? Meg Thee Stallion could look identical with a better reputation, no fame, and she would be more desirable. She could look identical, the same exact carbon copy of a person. Just like how she is, with a better reputation, not making any music about popping this, popping that, hot girl summer, be a 304, F men, we don't need men, dissenter men. And she would be a more desirable partner. She'll be more fit to be a wife. Ladies, you need the wife's mindset to be a wife, right? Like, I'm reading this book called The Millionaire Mindset, and it's crazy because, and it's obvious, it makes a lot of sense. There's like, in the book it's talking about, you need to think like a millionaire to be a millionaire. See, everybody wants the results what millionaires have. Everybody wants the results what wives have, right? But y'all don't think about this. You need to think like a wife, to feel like a wife, to behave like a wife. Y'all just try the behavior part. Oh, I'm gonna look at me, I cooked. No, it gotta be up here, baby girl. Gotta be the software, and that's where the disconnect was. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Best of luck to her. I don't think Klay is worried one bit, and I'm sure Klay would marry a woman if he ever does get married of much higher status, and I'm sure Meg Stallion won't ever be able to top Klay. I doubt it. I strongly doubt it. Anyway, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Channel blowing up. I appreciate you guys. Check out some other videos, and I'll see y'all over there.